Remember that time when Doug Ford ran on a mandate of bringing back buck a beer in his first election? Yeah, that was pretty sick.
We promised to bring a buck of beer to Ontario, and today I'm proud to say, promises made, promises kept.
I mean, it didn't happen. He didn't keep his promise, but it sounded pretty cool. Well, now Trudeau's gonna make your beer cost even more with, guess what? Another tax. Let's discuss this. And he wants to raise the price on conservatives while they drink away their pain at the failed Trudeau state. I don't know. I'm just kidding, but probably not. Now, this new federal duties tax is about to go up 4.7% by April 2024, making the average 2-4 cost about 20 cents up to a couple dollars more depending what brand of beer you're buying. Now, probably not enough of an amount to dissuade people from drinking beer, but if it goes up every single year by this amount, tax is being put in at the production of beer at the plants, so of course, naturally, it's going to get passed down to the customer, just like all of the inflation we've been seeing at grocery stores and everywhere else. If it's taxed at the source, kind of like the carbon tax, it gets passed on to you.
The government also applied HST and GST on the tax.
Ordinary taxes will be levied in the ordinary fashion.
Now, this federal duties tax has been going up in line with inflation since 2014, and it was actually proposed that in 2024, the tax should be 6.4% before it was capped at 2% from industry lobbying. That's right, the alcohol industry is on the side of the Canadian taxpayer, or maybe they just want to ensure their profit. Either way, that 2% cap, no matter what, was good for Canadians. But with the recent surge in inflation, yeah, that's going away. Now it's going up to the 4.1%. Yeah, that's going away. Now it's going up to the 4.7%. Now, it might not sound like a big deal. Beers are only going up a couple cents per bottle, but this is expected to cost the whole industry $750 million a year now in lost profits, and they're saying they already have razor-thin margins. The same thing Galen Weston has been saying about Loblaws is that they really can't lower prices anymore, even with how hard inflation is, because they already have razor-thin margins. If they reduce any more, they're going to have to start firing, which is going to cause a whole cascading effect, which the Bank of Canada really doesn't want. So in a nutshell, Galen Weston is a fucking badass, or he's also just extremely money hungry, which is probably the way it is, but that's okay. We like capitalism on this channel. Now, we can be fair about capitalism, but we like capitalism. So what's the takeaway here? What's the real problem with all of this? Well, it's just another tax. It's like the carbon tax effect. It sounds good. It sounds like a unicorn little dream. It makes sense. But when you increase cost, even just a little bit, it trickles down, it trickles through the economy and really affects customers, and mostly middle-class Canadians who are already struggling with housing, with working, with not getting raises and everything getting more expensive. And now you throw on 10 cents per beer bottle more, it's going to break everything. Now, I'm being facetious, obviously, but you get what I'm saying. Now, for example, the carbon tax. They're making a nice little marketing ploy about it. It sounds good, but the reality is it adds 0.6% to top line CPI. Now, when I'm making this video, the CPI report just came out for October in Canada, and we're at 3.1%. But that's including the carbon tax. If we were to take that carbon tax out and just stop it for a year, 2 years, like Pierre Poilievre is suggesting, okay, our inflation is actually 2.5%, well within the boundary of the 1 to 3% that Tiff Macklem wants, which would mean interest rates could really start coming down immediately if you were to take out that carbon tax. Now, that's a major point I'm making on top of this beer tax, but it does have an effect just like that. Not as extreme and expensive as the carbon tax, obviously, but it will trickle through the economy. Prices will come up. With lost profits, people will probably lose jobs in this alcohol industry. It's just a reality. So the more the Liberal government wants to tax and just make things more beautiful and wonderful and socialistic, there are unintended consequences, which we always talk about on this channel. See, the Liberal government are kings and queens, mostly queens, of not understanding the unintended consequence effect. For every policy, for every action they do, there's an equal and probably, if they do it, a greater bad reaction to come from it. For example, the carbon tax. Let's make the environment cleaner. Okay, it sounds good, but it's literally hurting millions of Canadians, because if we were to take that goddamn carbon tax out, I bet we could start lowering rates, which would actually help middle-class Canadians in the real world to be able to get by and not feel so stressed. And the reality is this carbon tax we're paying on shit, where's it going? It's going nowhere. We're outputting the same amount of carbon. We're not planting any more trees, really. That's already been discovered. That's bullshit. Trudeau hasn't planted an excessive amount more trees than we normally do. So where is this extra carbon tax fund going? Little politician pocket here, little there, little handshake here. I don't know. It's off the books. We don't know where it's going. But it's not going into the hands of Canadians like it was promised. It's not going to stimulating the economy, to boosting our struggling GDP. It's going to none of those things. The more money we give to the liberal governments, or just governments in general, even conservative governments, the more they're going to spend on something. And that something probably isn't going to actually help Canadians or the people in the country at all. So what can you do to get through all of these tough times and that damn alcohol tax that's coming in? Number one, don't rely on governments. Don't rely on Pierre Poilievre coming in and saving the day. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Most likely history tells us he won't. He'll make things probably morally better. We'll feel better about who's running the country. But when it comes to your personal wallet, I don't think you're going to get that much more help. The only one that can help your wallet, which translates to literally your happiness throughout life, I don't care what anybody says, money is just as important as oxygen. And if you don't have money, you're not happy. And this all comes down to you. What are you doing to move your life forward? Now, I'm glad you're watching this video and you're on the Fruitful Investing channel, where I teach you all about investing in real estate, investing in stocks to become more wealthy, how to pretty much guarantee to live a great life. But are you taking action on that knowledge? I mean, with all my resources on this channel for free and my courses below to really expedite your success, are you taking action? I don't know, dude. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you're doing to ensure that you don't become a slave to the Canadian matrix. I'll see you in the next video.